welcome to NCZ Textures. My name is Neelam. Today I'm just going to be doing an unboxing and full review of a textured paste, comparing it to a leading brand paste. When I talk about textured paste, I'm referring to an art medium which you often see on Instagram mixed with acrylics to create floral pieces such as this and this. You might have seen flowers, full floral designs, petals, lots of different designs. I might link some artists below, and specifically the two creators who have created the textured paste that I'm about to review, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So I may make videos in future kind of talking about how you can create textured pieces like this at home. Please drop a comment below if you want to see videos like that. So I'm just about to do the unboxing for the paste. So just a little bit about this paste. So it's created by two Australian artists, Lauren and Vienna. So Lauren is thickpalette on Instagram. I'll link her Instagram below. And viennastormstudios. And they are co-founders of TAOMI Australia. So this is their newly released textured paste, the Forbidden Frosting. So I've been waiting a long time for first the paste to be released, and then ordering it and receiving it all the way from Australia. So I'm in the UK, and so really excited to look at this paste. And what I thought I'd do an unboxing, talk about the paste a little bit, open it up, have a go at making a little piece and compare it to a leading brand. So really excited for this, and there it is. Oh, just honestly, genuinely so excited for this paste. Oh my god, look at that! Actually have it. I've been waiting so long for this paste. Oh god, it is massive. This is the one litre one. They've actually released, I want to say a 4 litre one as well, but that's only available in Australia right now. But this is massive. The leading brand paste that I'm going to compare to, I mean, look at the difference. That one is 473 millilitres. That I'm going to be comparing to. They do obviously bigger versions of other pastes as well, but this is I guess this is the standard, and this would be a leading brand standard. So it's just amazing. It's so big, and it's beautiful. It's so pretty, really pretty. I just love it. I'm so excited to use it. I'm so excited to see how. Obviously I've seen other people using it. I've seen the two artists using it, and it just looks amazing. I'm really excited. So let's have a look at the actual paste. But first, I just wanted to say as well about the packaging itself. I haven't really seen anyone else do a full review of the TAOMI paste. I'm sure it's going to, other people are making other reviews as well. But the packaging itself, it's so handy. It's just, I can imagine just kind of putting away with my art materials. You can neatly put that away, whereas sometimes when things come like that, it's a little bit bulky, it's a little bit more awkward to store. That's can just be put away nice and neatly. And also, I mean, I'm going to open this and have a look at it, but the fact that it's a nozzle and you can squeeze out, I can imagine it's going to be much easier just squeezing out the paste right onto kind of your whatever you're going to use to kind of mix your acrylics and paint with. You can just squeeze it right out, whereas with the other brands, they all of them come like that in a tub. You're often obviously using a palette knife to kind of take it out, scrape it out, probably using another palette knife to get off the paste down onto your canvas, or down into kind of your plate that you're using to mix with. Whereas this, I can imagine it's just going to be so convenient, just pushing it out and squeezing it out. And then also, due to kind of like the shape of it, you're not really having to kind of like scrape into any corners. You're probably going to get a lot of use out of that as well. You're probably not going to like waste any in that as well. Whereas with the pots, I find that sometimes you're kind of having to scrape out from the bottom, and even when you're taking it out, you're having to scrape on the sides, and then you end up losing paste because it dries out, and you end up wasting it, I guess, in that sense. But let's have a look at what this looks like. I realised that I wasn't recording, so I'm just going to talk through some other bits quickly. I just opened my Liquitex heavy body acrylics. These are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Look how big they are. These are 59mm heavy body acrylics. I got them off Amazon. They're just massive. They're so big. Oh, it's just in my hand. Look how big they are. I was actually expecting them to be a bit smaller than this, but they're beautiful. I'm looking forward to using these, and I've been saving them to use with the TAOMI Forbidden Frosting modelling paste. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using these with the TAOMI paste. But yeah, what I'm going to do is just choose one colour. I don't think there will be, but I just wanted to also see whether there is any different in pigment across the two pastes that I'm going to compare. So I thought I'd just choose one colour. So I'm just using the Brilliant Blue from Liquitex, and we'll try this with the paste. As I mentioned, I forgot I wasn't recording a part of it, but I opened the TAOMI paste and placed it down, and it is just so fluffy. And it's just beautiful. It's so light. Look at that. That's just a tiny little squeeze from the paste itself. And you can really see it's just so fluffy, so light. And I'm going to get a lot out of that. And I'll compare to the leading brand paste. So when you open it, obviously could be neater. I could be neater, but I mean, little bits already just kind of flaked off and fell onto the floor because you end up scraping on the sides. But with this, obviously, you have to take out your palette knife. I sometimes just have a little, and this is a good paste. I'm not using, I've done other reviews of pastes on my Instagram page, which I'll link down below. I'm not using a paste which I wouldn't say is not that good to compare it to TAOMI. This is a good paste. There's other pastes that I wouldn't use ever again. If I was to compare that to TAOMI, I mean, it wouldn't be like, I guess it wouldn't be fair. This is kind of, I would say, an on par. So when I say leading brand, this is a paste that a lot of people use. It's a good paste. It's still really beautiful. It's creamy, it's light. A lot of people on my Instagram ask me what paste I'm using. So this is the paste that I usually use. A lot of people ask me what I'm using. Like, it's super creamy, it's nice, but it's just annoying trying to get out. That's why I just love that TAOMI paste. So I'll put that here. You can really see that's a little bit, it's just denser, isn't it? Like, look how beautiful and fluffy that is. It's just a bit more denser. I mean, some people might like that as well. Some people might like that kind of creamier texture. I guess I would say this is creamier. This is a bit more fluffy and light, but like, it's just so light. The TAOMI face is so light. It's just, yeah. Right, okay, so yeah, leading brand, got TAOMI there. Let's add the Liquitex. Oh, look how beautiful that colour is. The Brilliant Blue from Liquitex. That is so beautiful. Might do a review on these as well, actually. I'm just going to put a tiny bit. You only need a little bit, I think. I'll start off with that much. It's not even a full squeeze. I'm trying to put in about the same, because also it obviously makes a difference how much acrylics you use. That's a bit funny, doesn't it? It depends what acrylics, how much acrylic you use, which will obviously impact how you do your mixing and placement and all that stuff. So, right, let's have a mix. Because So because I forgot to, I realised I wasn't recording part of it, I've just come back just to show you guys the mixing of the TAOMI paste, because yeah, I spoke a little bit about kind of the texture, so I'm just going to talk through that again. So whilst I was mixing it, it's just so creamy, so light, it's just so beautiful. So you can already see through the mixing, look at that texture, it's just beautiful. So much lighter than the other leading brands that I've used, and especially specifically the one that I'm comparing to. And what I found as well, because it's lighter and because it's kind of, look at that texture, it's beautiful. Because it's lighter and it's not as creamy and dense as the other one, like this is still obviously creamy, but it's not as creamy as the leading brand, which you'll see in a little bit. You've got a little bit more control over it, I find. You've got much more control over this. You can kind of like lift it and kind of load your palette knife a little bit neater and easier. Like, look how beautiful that looks on the palette knife. Really, really nice. Really nice mixing. This is the fun part, isn't it? Doing all the mixing, what I find as well. I've got lots of textured art tips and advice on my Instagram page, like how to load the palette, how to kind of, you know, what is textured paste and all those bits. So take a look, so thick. That's amazing. Right, let's have a go. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so that is the TAOMI paste. Might just have a, just give another flower, another petal. Really nice. I mean, that could have been a bit neater, but really I'm just, just trying to show this, the structure of the paste. Look how thick that peak is. Beautiful. Okay, right, so that is the TAOMI paste. In this more of the central one, we'll put the leading brand paste in this corner over here. So I'm just gonna have a, just gonna wipe the palette knife, and then I'll show the mixing of the leading brand paste. So yeah, as I said, this leading brand paste is a good paste. You can really see, oh well, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I can feel it definitely. It's definitely creamier and denser. This one, I think there's a few pastes that I like this. I mean, I don't want to give away which brand. I mean, only if you know your paste, you can probably guess, because the brand itself is obviously brilliant. But there are a few pastes that I've seen that are similar to this one, and a few that I've seen that are similar to that one. So I guess it might be your preference, but this one, the TAOMI paste, is definitely just so light and fluffy. door, sorry. So yeah, a bit more, you can see like creamier and denser. I don't know if you can see that in the video. So much lighter and fluffier. I've obviously used this one, but you can probably see by the grain as well. And it's a bit more, it's more satisfying to mix that TAOMI paste. I can feel the weight difference. And because it's denser, you almost have to pick up more paste to be able to get that thickness, that thicker peaks and kind of like that thicker paint. So you probably have to get quite a lot of that paste, and that's kind of what I find, you go through it so quickly. It's a bit more harder to pick up as well. Like I've picked up quite a lot. I'll take a little bit more. Like I picked that one up, I didn't pick up a lot of the TAOMI and it was thick like that. And I'm having to pick up quite a lot of this leading brand one to be able to get that thickness on my palette knife. Right. You want to make sure it's obviously as smooth as possible. Like you could tell there, that one wasn't as smooth on my palette knife, hence you've got that kind of the imperfect flow, which I don't mind. And then that one's a little bit, it was obviously a little bit neater. I don't mind that too much, especially when you're kind of going for more of an abstract look, but that's just a bit of a tip. So I'm just trying to get it as smooth as possible, just so I think that will make a difference. I don't want to be unfair, I guess. Yeah, I can already see the difference in the mixing. I mean, the mixing might be about the same, but the mixing and then picking up, such difference between this one and the TAOMI paste. Because it's so light and fluffy, it just kind of picks up into the palette knife, and it was so smooth. But yeah, okay, let's have a go then. Let's just place it down. Place it down here. Yeah. I can never get, like, look how beautiful that is. And that's my first time using the TAOMI paste. I've used this one loads, and you can already see, like, placing it down, because it's heavier, it's harder to get that thicker peak. And I found that with my pieces, in using this paste and other pastes, that it's harder. Like I see a lot of Australian artists, and obviously the two creators of TAOMI, Vienna and Lauren, kind of creating their pieces, and they've got like these thick peaks, and it just looks amazing. It looks so much better, doesn't it, compared to this. And because it's thicker and creamier, I think it's less forgiving as well. Like, you have to be neater. But I've had to use quite a lot of that leading brand one. You can see the difference between the two, even in video. And obviously this is just the paste itself. We're still going to see the drying process and the overall look. So I'm just going to take a little bit more. Well, I'll have to take the rest of it, really. So hard to get it neat on the palette knife when they're like this. Taking a little bit more this time, just to get a bit of a thicker. So you have to take a lot more. So I've been able to achieve a similar look,
but you have to take a lot more than the TAOMI bit. It just looks softer as well, doesn't it? So those are the two different pastes. It's obviously going to take a while to dry, and I'll come back once they have dried, and then we'll see whether either of them, if any of them did crack, and then yeah, we'll have a look at that once it's done. I've just used up the rest of the TAOMI paste that I had on my little palette, my little plastic Tupperware palette. And you saw obviously in the beginning I tried to keep the two pastes quite equal, obviously use the same colour and put in about as much, and I've been able to get, I mean I could probably scrape some more out, I've been able to get like 6 petals compared to 2. Like, that's just insane, and all of them are just so thick and beautiful. Yeah, I thought I'd just show you guys that quickly. So that's another thing as well, you're getting more for your money. But yeah, we'll come back and have a look at the drying process and what they look like once dried. Hi everyone, so it's the next morning now, and I've come back to look at the paste and how they've dried. So just gonna talk about that. So just looking at the TAOMI paste first, there's still really nice kind of soft high peaks on the petals. It's held its shape, there's no signs of cracks at all. It's still, that shows that kind of really soft texture to the paste. And you know what the best thing about this paste, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, I don't want to give it away, but I suspected that this is what's the finishing was going to be like. This paste dries soft completely, so you can just see right there with the petal that I'm touching, it's malleable. It doesn't dry completely solid and hard, and the reason I love that is because there's no worry that you're ever going to break off these petals, and that they're going to crack off, or you know, like in moving, if you're kind of like packaging something away, if you hang something up, you don't have to worry about kind of like it bashing against the wall and like cracking or breaking. Like, that's amazing. I've never ever seen that in a paste before, that it dries kind of soft, compared to kind of like the leading brand. You can hear the difference. These crack, and I've had it before. Can you see that? That's just kind of come off now. That petal broke off earlier as well, so you can see that it's kind of broke off. It hasn't cracked either, but when I've used this paste before, I have had some petals that crack, and I think it just depends on how much acrylic you use, and kind of application as well, potentially. But they haven't cracked either, but definitely you have that fear, and I definitely have had it with my pieces, that I'm so worried about kind of like, especially like the kind of like the higher peaks of the petals, that they'll break off, and they sometimes have. Whereas with the TAOMI paste, you don't have to worry about that at all. And it's just beautiful. Like, it's that texture on the paste, on the petals, are just so pretty, compared to the leading brands, which is obviously a little bit, as I mentioned before, that it's a little bit unforgiving with the way I've applied it, because of how heavy and dense it is. So yeah, it's just such a beautiful paste. There was, yeah, no doubt in my mind that this was just going to be amazing. It's probably it is the best paste I've used. Check out my Instagram, I've reviewed a few other pastes as well, but this is the best paste I've used, hands down. So I hope you enjoyed this video review, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you want to see any other videos in relation to textured art. I'm thinking about making a few different videos
maybe some about a bit more tips about how to do mixing and application, different types of patterns on canvases. I can definitely do that as well. And subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on those videos. And definitely get on the TAOMI website if there's any hesitation to get this paste. If there was any hesitation, hopefully this video kind of answered any kind of questions you may have had before purchasing, and now you can go get your own and you won't be disappointed. I promise you that. I've tried, you know, quite lots and lots of different modelling pastes, different types of textures, and this is by far the best one I've used, genuinely the best one I've used. I'm really looking forward to using it. So yeah, thanks for watching and happy painting.